Awesome. Okay, so to everyone joining in the stream, welcome. This is episode 2 of Page 8. This is a podcast featuring a couple of other YouTubers and buddies of mine. So starting off, we have Alex. Say hi, Alex.
Hello.
And then Aaron.
What's up, guys?
And Bailey.
Hi.
So these guys all joined me, or at least Aaron and Bailey. Alex is new to this episode, but they all joined me on the last episode, and we're coming back for round 2. So I hope you guys are ready for this. If you are joining, feel free to say hi in chat, as well as participate in the discussion. If you notice the live chat, all the comments, we see them live as you type them. So if you have something to say about what we're talking about, if you have your own opinions, feel free to do that. And then at the end of the show, we're going to have a little lightning round. So if you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss very quickly within like a 1 to 2 minute time frame, have that ready for the end of the show. And when we're all done, we'll start that. So I guess just to get right into it, our first topic story for today is that NASA scientists last week announced that they have found evidence of flowing water on Mars. So this was announced on the 20th of September. They said that they found trails that were running down canyons and craters during the summer months, and they were leaving these long stains on the surface of the planet basically until the fall season. And so the water obviously is dried up by now, but it was so recent that they're saying that there was evidence of water up to a few days ago. So they're unsure of the source right now. They're saying either it's coming from underground or maybe condensing out of the atmosphere. But they're saying because of this, they suspect that there's at least a possibility of having a habitable environment today on Mars. So that's crazy big news. That's not something that we've heard before. Obviously, we have evidence in the past of finding ice. Obviously, in 2011, actually, cameras caught what appeared to be streams of liquid flowing down a crater wall, but it was unconfirmed, and NASA didn't want to just assume that it was water. So this is the first confirmation of water, at least being there a few days ago, on Mars. So what was your reaction to this when you guys heard about it? Anyway.
I loved it. That's so awesome.
Migration.
Like,
Alex?
Me, I was in class, actually. When I saw it, I was in class, and I was on my phone, not paying attention in class, but I saw it, and I immediately stopped what I was doing. I had my laptop with me at school, and so I went on Reddit, actually. I was looking at all the articles that people were posting. I was reading up about it. I didn't get to see the actual live broadcast, because they did broadcast it live, but it just caught me by surprise, and I was just so fascinated by it. And it was just something that I kept reading about pretty much for the whole day. I texted everyone here in the group just how crazy it was. And I was like, guys, we got to talk about this for the show. So that was my initial reaction to it.
You know, I think I follow NASA on Instagram, and I think they posted about it, but I think I found out about it on Twitter first. NASA's Instagram is fabulous, by the way.
You need to follow
They
them.
have some really good photos. It's always followed by like a 2-paragraph novel of what the photo is, but I'm sure they had a post about this, and you know, it's so cool.
Huh. I didn't even know. I obviously I know all these government agencies have Instagram accounts, like NASA, the White House, the NSA, but I never bothered to follow any of them. Just in general, I don't think I follow pages on Instagram, just people. But anyway, so the first satellite images of Mars came out in 1964, and the first rover on Mars landed in 1976. So this is talking nearly 40 years ago since we've first been able to actually explore the planet. Why do you think it took this long to find like confirmed actual hard evidence of water?
First of all, it's huge. There's a delay, so we can't actually like control the rover real time. And doesn't it go like really slow?
I don't know how fast it goes, but I would imagine it's not like a Ferrari or anything like that.
What confuses me is we already knew for like the longest time that there was ice on the poles. It's just we're wondering, is there liquid water? Is there running water? So as far as the rovers and stuff go, why didn't we ever put one by the poles if we're looking for water?
Makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Did we always put them at the equator, or I
don't know where they actually dropped them.
I think I saw somewhere that Curiosity is actually close to where they saw the evidence of the running water, or water flow,
that would have made a
whatever
lot
it
more
is.
sense. Like,
So I think it's heading that direction now, if they can do that. I'm not sure.
Well, I know I read that the traces of water that they found, the freezing temperature of that water was negative 23 degrees Celsius. Now, regular water, H2O, freezes at 0 degrees. That's 0 Celsius is the freezing point of water.
Ridiculously salty, right?
Exactly. So because of that, even in these cold environments, you can still have running water, which is crazy to think that even with that, there's still these like polar ice caps where it's just all frozen. So that means it's probably like super freezing in there, at least in certain parts of the planet. So like you said, in the past 40 years, we've had all this improvement, and even in the past century, if you think about it, 100 years ago, we didn't have anyone on the moon. I don't even think we had anyone in space. And so within this last century, so much change and improvement has happened. So where do you see things going in the next 40 years or 100 years? You know, obviously, we have examples like Pluto was a planet to us up until a couple of years ago. I remember in school, when we were learning about the planets, Pluto was just a drawing because they said we don't have any photos of the planet because it's so far away. And then earlier this year, they actually released like pictures of Pluto.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome to see. There's all these high-res images. It looks really cool. So NASA has said things like they plan to have a Mars mission to actually bring humans in the mid to late 2030s. And that's 15 to 20 years from now. And so where do you guys see space exploration going in the next 100 years?
Or what can you imagine? Something on to this, as far as the whole planned Mars mission things go. I don't know if any of you saw this, but Elon Musk, the SpaceX and Tesla guy, he actually suggested periodically exploding, I think nukes, basically exploding nukes over the poles of Mars, like not on the surface but in the air.
What?
Yeah, to make like little pulsing suns, which would melt the water and evaporate it and create an atmosphere. But it has to be like a regularly firing missile.
They literally want to make it the planet of war again.
Well, they want to make suns so that it makes it more habitable. But yeah, it is basically nuking Mars almost.
That's the problem I see with that. How are you going to get, number one, how are you going to get approved to, number one, get nuclear weapons and then launch that into space? I'm pretty sure Russia would have a problem with that.
Someone actually asked Elon Musk, is like, and you actually see that you actually think this is possible? And he's like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. So,
when you're that rich, nothing's a big deal, right?
Man, what if there's like tiny organisms in the pole? Like they haven't found them yet. It's like they're gonna kill all of them.
Well, that was another concern that I read about, was that they didn't want to send humans there like right away. Obviously 15 years isn't right away, but they don't want to rush into it because Earth has its own bacteria and organisms. We didn't want to contaminate what's already there by soiling it with whatever Earth bacteria and germs.
It's like people from Europe killing all the Native Americans and South Americans and stuff with disease.
Yeah, or even that stupid ending for War of the Worlds, the one with Tom Cruise. Didn't it end with like the aliens died because of germs and bacteria on Earth that they weren't prepared for? I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the concern that they have, which is funny because it's about aliens invading Earth, but we're trying to do basically the opposite.
Man. Okay, but when you mentioned Pluto before and like where we're going in the future, dude, NASA posted this photo on Instagram of one of Pluto's moons, and it's like one of the newest high-res photos. The moon is called Charon. At least I think that's how you say it. And I love this moon. It's my favorite one now because at the top, it's like all red and everything. It's all spooky at one of its north poles. And they literally named that part of the moon Mordor.
Well, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's really cool. I did not know that. That's cool.
It's my favorite moon.
I love the fact this is something that actually ties into something a little bit later in the show. But Bailey and I were talking a while back about how you can actually buy like things in space, right? Like you can buy a comic.
Yeah, you can buy property from like sketchy people online.
Say they're selling it to you, but they also sold it to 400 other people.
What if someone owns that one property on Mars? They bought it from someone, and it's like, dude, why are you nuking it? I own this. It's my house.
Wait, who owns NASA?
The moon? Nobody.
I don't know.
Well, aren't there? Because there are people from. I don't know if there's anyone on the moon right now, but there are people on the International Space Station, right?
Yeah, but that's an international thing, and I think there's a Chinese space station too. I don't know if it's still being used, but there's people from China, Japan, Russia, U.S. I can't remember what else on the ISS.
Huh. I didn't know that, actually. I knew it was U.S. and Russia for sure, but I wasn't sure about other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one thing, we have to ask this. Do you honestly believe there are intelligent life forms on other planets or galaxies?
Well, yes, other planets. I thought you were going to say Mars. I was like, no, not at all.
Just in general.
Somewhere out there, of course there is. Just makes
Aaron,
sense.
Bailey?
At least like little tiny bugs or something.
Bugs?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah, definitely not Mars. But yeah, I think there's like another Earth somewhere. Not like specifically exactly like our Earth, but like, I mean.
Well, you're saying not specifically like our Earth.
Like developing civilizations somewhere else. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm here thinking you're talking about the multiverse theory, where there's like multiple, like parallel universes with Earths, and that's a whole other thing.
True.
You think so? I believe that, honestly, because the universe is infinite, right? And somewhere out there, it's like what's the best example I can come up with is pi. Pi is infinite, right? So there are websites that you can go on where you can find your birthday in pi. Because it goes on forever, there's an infinite number of combinations, and so you can find literally any number sequence in there because it goes on forever. And so that's kind of
2098.
Yeah, and that's is that a special date? Or?
It's my birthday. I mean.
There you go. But there's a website you can actually find your birthday in pi. But it also kind of holds true for the multiverse theory. If the universe goes on forever, somewhere there has to be some combination of gases and chemicals and molecules that is pretty similar to what we have here. And so I believe that's true.
Definitely.
So I guess back to the original question, can you see us discovering life, maybe not intelligent life, but maybe some sort of microorganisms maybe in our lifetime?
Hell yes.
Lifetime?
That's my answer.
I mean, if they get... I was thinking,
what if we don't get
New
along?
Horizons is super fast, but to get to like the closest solar system anywhere near us, it would have to be super, super fast.
That's true.
And it would still have to have
like
some
Star
sort of
Trek warp speed stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know about lifetime if we're gonna try searching outside the solar system. It'd be cool, but I'm not sure.
And honestly, I see, because from what NASA's saying, they're not planning to send people until 2036 or 2030s, and I don't see them going anywhere farther than that, at least in our lives. I don't see us going past Mars, at least nothing that we're going to see. So, okay, so I guess moving on, the next, I guess we could call this the douchebag of the stream. A pharmaceutical company bought the rights to a pill or a drug called Darabin. So Darabin, it treats foodborne illnesses. It's caused by a parasite, and people who have low or weak immune systems take this pill. You know, people who have HIV and AIDS, cancer, women who are pregnant, they rely on this pill for when they get sick. They get this parasite, they have to take Darabin. It's been on the market for over 62 years, and the price before a couple weeks ago was about $18 a pill. It's pretty expensive for one pill. Now, this company bought the rights to the pill and raised the price almost overnight to over $700 per pill. In fact, it was about $750. So even with insurance, the cost of the pill would cost probably around $100 to $150 each. And so this is getting attention from people on the internet. You even have the CEO of the company going on the news. You have presidential candidates giving their opinion on it. Hillary Clinton, she's quoted as saying, like, price gouging like this is just outrageous. He's proposing a cap on drugs about $250. No matter what drug it is, it should be capped at $250 on prescription pills. You have Bernie Sanders, who's saying that Americans shouldn't have to live in fear that they're going to die or go bankrupt because they can't afford the medicine they need. And so people are calling for, how much does it cost to produce the pill? How much is this going to cost in other countries? Who actually set the prices? And the CEO of the company, his name's Martin Shkreli, he says the company is going to use this extra money for research and development and to spread awareness of the disease or of the illness. And people are still upset. So just days after the news broke, this was about 2 weeks ago, he went on news stations and he said, okay, people are upset, we're going to lower the price of the pill. They didn't disclose how much, but they said they are going to lower the price.
$10.
So, did you know that companies could actually buy rights to medicines?
Yeah. But I think that's just like exclusive. It's not even really production rights. I can't remember what it was. I saw somewhere, but when this stuff happens, other companies can still come in and just make super cheap knockoffs, which is good. But it takes
like
a while
the Walmart
because they're
brand,
not as
sort of.
big. Kind of, yeah.
Well,
Like okay, for example, I was in Walmart the other day, and I take Claritin because I have allergies, right? So like, you can get the actual Claritin bottle for $30, or you can get the Walmart brand, which is the exact same thing for like 18.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
essentially what people want, right? They want this company to go under and someone to make a better medicine, or at least something similar. But the problem is right now there is no generic brand. This is the only type of medicine that's been on the market for, like you said, about 60 plus years. And people need this to survive, and not everyone can afford it now. In fact, not a lot of people can afford it now. So as for consequences, or what you'd like to see to this company, what would you like to see happen to the CEO and this company that bought the rights to the drug?
First of all, if he's using his money to use like research and awareness, like people are going to start dying if they don't get their pills, and they're not going to have money for any research. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People can't afford it, they won't buy it.
It's going to go downhill.
I just pulled up a website and it had a link from a professor or a doctor at Emory University that said, "I certainly don't think this is one of the diseases where we have been clamoring for better therapies. Like, the pill they had was already working. Like, that's all they needed. They don't need more research, more development. It's literally exactly what they need." So it's like they're so confused why he's saying, "Oh, we need to hike this up for research."
So basically what he's saying is total BS then.
Yeah. And I saw somewhere that this same guy at his last company, he did some of the same stuff and some shady stuff, and the company kicked him out because
Yeah,
they,
that's true.
Stopped doing that.
He was actually one of the people who founded the company, but the board
Yeah.
still kicked him out, which is
he was
crazy.
like taking money from the company and all this.
Do you know
other
why there
crazy
hasn't
stuff.
been a generic knockoff medicine? Like, is it the Coke recipe, or does no one, like,
Well, it was
how hard
cheap
could it
before. It was cheap. It wasn't that expensive, so nobody really cared to make a better one or a different one.
That's true, because I did say it was $18 a pill, but I guess if you have
It's really not
insurance,
that
it would
bad,
be.
yeah.
If you have insurance, it should be a lot cheaper than I would
Like
imagine.
my stepdad had migraine pills that he had to take, and they were like $60 a pill, which
Dang.
is just ridiculous when you have to take one a day.
Wow.
Or every other day.
So I guess this might be a little bit obvious now, but based on his history of running companies, does he deserve all the backlash that he's getting? And what do you think it says about this company and this practice in general?
I think it's
I
just,
hate him.
he's just the most visible person right now. There are tons of other companies and people doing this.
That's
it's
true.
just sometimes people are easier to pick on. So hopefully this leads to change somehow.
I see him more being like the scapegoat, because we
Potentially.
don't even know if he's the one that made the decision. He's just the CEO of the company. Obviously, he approved it, I would imagine. But I'm sure there's some board of executives and people who are crunching the numbers and saying, yeah, we could do this. So obviously, he's not the one to blame. Although I will say on his Twitter account, he's pretty bad.
God.
Reporters were asking him, why is your company doing this? Why are these price hikes happening? And he was going and calling reporters morons. Someone asked him, how can you sleep at night? And he replied, Ambien. So the CEO is a total douchebag.
God. He would say that, though.
Yeah.
What a douche.
Right?
He deserves bad things.
And the guy's a scumbag, and the company obviously is doing some pretty bad practices right now.
Okay, hypothetically, if he had the disease that requires him to take this pill, would he get it for free?
Well, are you saying if he owns it?
Yeah, he has the rights to his own medicine.
I
Does
would
he get the
imagine.
pill for free?
I'd imagine so. Most people do get stuff like that for free. Like, if the owner of a store wants to grab a soda, just grab the soda. You're paying for it anyway, right? And this company is producing it, so I'd imagine you wouldn't really have to pay for it at all.
if he had to pay $750 a pill, do you think that he would lower the price himself? Like, does he think that's really steep?
I see. That makes sense, because when you're actually paying for something yourself, then yeah, you realize how expensive it can get, especially if people have to take this very often. So I mean, it's like Alex said, practices like this happen everywhere, and this is just one that happened to get into the news spotlight, and people are getting upset about it. I don't know what change is going to happen. I haven't heard anything since we did the research for this, but I would imagine the price is going to go down, like the company said. We don't know how much, but I honestly don't see a ton of change happening right now. It's like big news stories happen like this, something bad happens, and it doesn't matter what topic it is. It could be like a shooting or something, or it could be this crazy, hike in prices. People usually forget about it within a couple of weeks, and that's the sad thing. So I don't think we're going to see any big change soon, unless this happens to be a big topic in the elections. But I don't see a lot of change happening. It sucks that this did happen, but I don't see anyone doing anything about it.
I like the fact that they're campaigning for a $250 cap. I like that. After hearing stupid shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, this could be getting to like a really political thing. You're talking about like government regulation on stuff, but I do agree that something needs to be done to stop. It's almost like a monopoly where people just like, I own this, so I'm charging whatever I want for it. So I do agree that some sort of cap like that is probably the best solution. So.
I think I mentioned this before, though. If there's like a potential like good guy, who wants to come and save the day, buys the rights to this pill, obviously they're gonna have to buy the rights for a crap ton, because this guy he's gonna have to one up him, right?
I believe he actually paid a couple of $100 million for it.
Yeah.
So like the next person couldn't just come around with like $50K and do it.
Yeah.
They'd have to like one up him, right?
Yeah.
But then how much would they sell it for? It's like a losing game, because you would lose money if you didn't sell it for a high price as well.
Well, I
That
think
makes sense.
before this guy bought the rights or whatever it was for this pill, it wasn't owned by anybody. Like, I don't think anyone had exclusive rights to it or anything like that.
That's like
But then
space.
they came in, bought it, so that nobody else could do stuff with it.
Yeah, actually, that also makes a lot of sense. So, I guess to kind of conclude that whole thing, it sucks that it's happening, and I think that company is just, it's horrible, what they're doing.
BS.
Yeah, but like we said, I don't think anything's really going to come out of it. So, I'm going to keep on the story. I'm going to kind of just look up what happens after the show, because I haven't checked up on this in a couple of days, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look like nothing's going to be done about it. So.
Yeah,
Also,
we could talk
Casey
about
says hi
it
in
next
chat.
time.
Hi, Casey. Yeah,
Hi,
actually,
Casey.
that would be cool to do a little update. Okay, so next on our little list here, this is something that we were talking about before, and I think this affects Aaron more than all of us. This is your story, Aaron. So, the city of Chicago.
This is just gonna piss me off.
The city of Chicago. The city of Chicago has imposed a 9% streaming tax, and from what Alex has told me, this is already in effect. They are imposing a 9% streaming tax on things like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Spotify, Xbox Live. This is similar to what they're doing to music and sporting events. They call it the amusement levy. So basically, if you're signing up for subscriptions and services, they're going to charge you 9% more. This is going to bring in extra revenue for the city. Now, it did get a lot of opposition from residents. Obviously, they're upset because they're paying more than the rest of the country is for the same online services.
They're being sued right now as well.
The city?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I would imagine, from what I have here, they're arguing that it violates the Federal Internet Tax Freedom Act, and it forbids states and cities from imposing internet-only taxes. So they're basically treating streaming differently than, like, DVD by mail services. They're basically charging more for the same thing than other cities are. Like I said, the city says it's getting millions of dollars, every year from this, and they're going to use the money to pay for the expenses that they have in their budget. So their argument is that tax revenue is down because more people are buying things online than in stores. So they're losing that tax money that they're used to, so they're trying to get that back with this tax. So to kind of start off, what online services do you guys actually pay for, subscription-wise?
Amazon Prime, Netflix, Xbox Live. PlayStation Network.
I do all those
Spotify.
too.
Actually, yeah, that's
Spotify.
pretty much me. Netflix, I pay for Xbox, Amazon, and that's pretty much what I have. And all of those are included in this list for this tax. So from
I'm
the
already
consumers,
poor, and I'm just gonna even be. They're just taking every dime I have, literally.
that's yeah, because now you buy a game on Xbox Live. Well, I don't know about purchases online, but let's say you buy a game on Xbox Live, that's $60 flat. You go to GameStop, it's what, $59.99 plus tax. So I guess they're just trying to make it an even playing field. So from the consumer's viewpoint, why are people fighting this so much?
Because it's stupid. It really is just money grabbing. They're like, oh, well, you're giving us less money, but we can't think of anywhere else to get money to fill our budget, so we're just gonna charge you more.
Yeah.
And that way we'll have our budget filled.
I mentioned
exactly
this to you
how they
before,
explained it, too.
Nitro. If they have like a secret motive to try to get people to spend money locally to help the economy locally, because like we get our stuff from like internationally, you know what I mean? We get it shipped to us, all that airplane gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or we could get the same thing from our local GameStop or something. But like, I don't know. There's no one there to say, hey, you're spending a lot of gas. Your carbon imprint is like way bigger than it should be. So if anything, this does help that. To just like, you know, ride your bike somewhere close by and get the same thing you would have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it does make sense because it is going to help local businesses because now people are I love the cash emojis in the chat.
Instead of spending so much time purchasing things online, they have to like actually not be lazy and walk themselves to a store.
Right. And I think for most people that was the incentive. For me, I buy everything off Amazon. I bought my comforter off Amazon. I bought all my equipment off Amazon. I buy clothes off Amazon. And I do it because it's convenient. I don't want to waste gas to go down to the store. I don't want to go pay tax on things like my equipment. There are purchases that I've made on Amazon that are tax-free. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I'm not complaining. So if they start taxing that, well, I might as well just go down, drive 5 minutes to the store and buy it there. So I would imagine.
That's the thing is that I hate to interrupt, but I live like 45 minutes from Walmart.
Damn.
So it's like, I mean.
Yeah,
Just screws you over extra.
There are 2 Walmarts within 20 minutes of my house. That's crazy. One of them is a super center, actually. But the fact that it's de-incentivizing actually going out and do things, that's not only making consumers upset, but I would imagine it's also making these companies upset. How is Amazon and Netflix and Hulu, how are they going to start just charging more for their services? You know, I would imagine that, you know, Netflix is pretty cheap, but if you remember a couple years back, they almost doubled their price, and people went crazy over that. I think they raised it to like, what, 12 or 16 bucks?
And
so
still 9, right?
Yeah, I think it's 9.
And now it's optional.
Yeah, exactly.
You pay for what you get.
But people go crazy over any small price increase, and you go to McDonald's and something's not on the dollar menu anymore, you freak out. Like people freak out. I don't know about you guys, but people freak out over that. So the fact that people are now paying more for the same items that they've been buying for so long, that's going to make them upset, and it makes it harder on the companies that are selling these products and services.
There's going to be like a black market going on soon, like a loophole thing, like, hey, Aunt Ruth, when you come into town, bring some Netflix cards.
Exactly. And one thing that we also discussed earlier is that I don't know if there's workarounds around it. Maybe just like change your billing address outside of Chicago. It seems like a really simple fix to it. I don't know if that's going to work.
IP or something.
Yeah, I would imagine
how
it's
that
just
works.
traced to that. But
Yeah, like how are they gonna know? I mean, obviously, if you get something shipped to your house, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I honestly,
I'm not sure how it's implemented. It could be applied just via
like with your card.
ISP or something.
Yeah.
For however many like gigs of data you stream to your house through the internet, then you get a tax on that.
Although if you try to avoid getting taxed like that, that's something that the IRS would totally get your butt on.
That's true.
Changing your address to avoid
That's
taxes in the
literally
state.
tax evasion.
Yes.
Literally. That's true. I guess that is pretty
That's
illegal then.
really bad.
Yeah. That's true. I actually didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, there are ways to work around it, not legally. So.
But I can't imagine that any of these companies are happy with this because there's a tax applied to their service that they don't get any of, just the city gets, or I don't know if they get a cut of it or something.
I believe it's all to the city.
Right. So people are paying more for their service in that area, which discourages people from using their service. So they get less people because of this, and they don't get any of the money from the tax. Like, there's no reason that they would want this to happen. So it seems like the company should be stepping up as well and saying, hey, stop doing that.
That's
well,
true.
when this happens to me, and it most likely will if it hasn't already, I just haven't been paying attention.
It's already in place, I think.
Oh, so I
you'll
probably
see
am
it
just
soon.
used to it by now. You guys will get a call. All each of you will get a call from me. I'll be pissed. I'll be like, so, yeah, that $9 is now like 10.
I know, I'd be like, yeah, I just bought a Black Ops 3 for $60. How much did you pay, Aaron? But that's essentially what
Like
it's going to
71.
come down to. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't think it's justified. I mean, there are other ways to raise money. So I guess the other argument then, from the city's point of view, why would you do something like that? Obviously, it's to make money, but why choose online services? And what other options do you think the city could use? What solutions could there be instead of taxing, all these internet services?
Yeah. Let's stop looking at the negatives. Let's look at the positives.
Okay.
What do we benefit? What do the people benefit from these taxes?
Absolutely. Well, the one
Better
benefit I could see is
infrastructure.
yeah. The city's getting more money.
Potholes.
They're going to be spent.
No more popping your tire or losing your rims or anything.
Potentially, yeah. I don't know exactly where they're spending the money that they get, but
But that's going to be their main
Education,
argument,
I think.
though.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's
Their
just
main
going right
argument.
back to your city. What's the big deal?
Exactly. And that I'm pretty sure that's to me that's the only way you can justify this is saying that this is all going back to you guys, so you guys shouldn't be upset. So, do you think, number one, obviously we don't think it's very reasonable, but if there are any changes you could make, what would you do then? Like we said, if we don't want to tax the online services, how would you bring in that revenue then? What other things could you tax or charge for?
Maybe don't make the taxes steep in the beginning.
Yeah, really 9% is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Is there a nationwide tax? Because I know in California
No.
our tax is 0.97. It's 9.75%.
Ours is only 7% sales tax,
damn.
and in Oregon, there's no sales tax.
I know what would justify it. If they lowered the tax in another area of whatever, like income tax, they lowered that but raised the whatever,
That's true. That actually makes sense because then you're incentivizing people. Number one, you're lowering income taxes for people, which makes them happy, and then you're also incentivizing them to go into your city and buy things, which brings in even more revenue for the city. So that, to me, seems like the best win-win situation. Yes, you're paying more for these services, but you don't have to. You could go down to the city and buy it there. And then
Then
also,
again, they don't actually make more money probably because they would probably, you know what I mean? They're
Oh.
losing some and then they're winning some. It's the same amount of money either way.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Now we're just getting into financial city planning.
I know, huh? Hire us. Just Nitro for city council. There we go. I actually just got the letter in the mail today for voting and everything like that, so that's exciting.
Oh yeah,
So,
I watched your
what are you voting for?
video for it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
politics one.
Yeah, I'm actually reading up, locally, we're voting for school board members. So, and I actually know one of the people. It was one of my classmates in high school. Her mom is running. So that doesn't mean I'm going to vote for her, but I'm looking into it. So, obviously taxes like this, no one's happy when you get taxed for things. But I think that there are ways to still... I think there are things you can tax, but I don't think online services is something you should. It's not
Yeah,
like...
especially city-wide. Like, if it's a global or a nationwide thing,
Yeah.
one city shouldn't be able to say, hey, we're going to put the tax on this, but just us,
Yeah, I think so. And then the other thing is that, I can't hold Netflix on my phone. Why am I being taxed for something I can't physically touch? That's how I would feel. It's like, why am I being taxed for something that doesn't physically exist? And obviously it's a service and you can still, I guess you could still tax that, but that just, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit well with me.
When weed was legalized in Colorado, and you know how it's taxed now?
Yeah.
They make so much
That
money off that.
there was like a, it was becoming legal. So people who lived there were getting something. They weren't just having something taxed, and they're not getting anything for it extra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't mind the tax probably because it's it's less shady or dangerous or anything.
But for people in Chicago, it wasn't like the internet was illegal in the first place, and now it's becoming illegal.
This is in North Korea, right? Yeah, and that makes sense though. It's not like this is something everyone is used to. No one had a problem with it, and the city is just trying to get some more money for themselves. So why not tax people who are buying stuff online? And it doesn't make any sense to me.
Lower the price of internet gig usage, whatever. Give us better cell plans.
Seriously. I'm still waiting for Google Fiber to come down to Covina. So.
Oh my god! Give everyone Google Fiber, and then they should tax you on it.
Actually, I am totally okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. Shoot, what's the up and down for the speeds for Google Fiber?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like hundreds or is it like
it's one? I think it's like 500 gig
Jesus.
Or 500 meg down or something.
Wow, that's
average.
Crazy.
Yeah, I get like 25 sometimes.
I think I'm at 100. I got to check.
Jeez.
But yeah, because I think we have Verizon, so Verizon it's pretty cool. So internet taxes, no one likes them except the people who are making the money off of it. But that kind of goes with anything. No one likes spending more money unless you're the one making the money. So.
Right.
Okay, so one thing that I personally love, and I know Bailey does as well, Pottermore, or just Harry Potter and stories in general. So Pottermore is a website not developed, but it was planned by J.K. Rowling, and it's basically, or at least what it is now, it's a website that was relaunched recently, and it gives more background information, it expands on the story, it gives information on characters from the story, and a lot of behind the scenes, not only in the movies, but in the books. Previously, from what Bailey has told me, is that there were a lot of games and interactive pages. What kinds of things could you do before?
Okay, before you could take the official J.K. Rowling actual sorting hat quiz, and it was different because it wasn't questions based on what would you do if someone cheated on your tests. It was actual stuff like, do you like earth, fire, whatever. It was things that you didn't know were linked to the houses, and it didn't actually make sense. And you could also get your wand picked out for you.
Oh, cool.
Oh my god, I'm going.
Yeah.
You
That's
could
so
work your
cool.
way through the books, and as you experience this story of the first book, then you could continue on to the next one. And there were places with Hogsmeade and stuff, and it was
I was
cool.
never smart enough to get to that part of it, though. It always confused me. I think most people just took the sorting house quiz, though.
Yeah, and then stopped.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that because it seems like it was a lot more interactive than it is right now. I do think it's very cool, but in a different way. When I didn't know that anything about the previous version of the site, but when I saw the new version of the site, I was very excited. I would still like to do the sorting hat. I'm kind of sad I can't do that anymore because I don't know what house I'd be in. But just Ravenclaw or Slytherin would be nice. But the new site that I've seen, it's very cool, and the layout it's really interesting. I think the way it was designed, it's nice. It looks really nice. I recommend, if anyone watching, when you have the time, go to pottermore.com. It's very cool. But I logged into the site, or I went on the site, and I got lost in there for about an hour. I just nonstop. I was reading through everything, looking at all the character bios. I love that it gives you dates of events that happened. This happened in between the 1960s to the 1990s. All these characters, that are living their lives in this universe, and it was so cool to see. And it gives you kind of a reference. I think the Battle of Hogwarts was in 1998. I might be wrong, but I was alive when the Battle of Hogwarts took place. We were all alive, and that's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I was so excited to read through everything. J.K. Rowling gives her thoughts on characters. My favorite bio, and this is also her favorite character from what she said, was Remus Lupin, the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, the Order of the Phoenix. He was he turned into the werewolf. His bio was so cool to see. His childhood, how he got bitten, And if you don't know anything about Harry Potter, then I'm sorry if this is boring to you. But for most people that do know Harry Potter, it's just a cool experience to see and see.
It
all
was
this
like
background.
the site to go to, and in a way, it sort of seems like the audience of Harry Potter, like people 10 years younger than us, don't even know what it is. They're like what? Like you don't know who Harry Potter is? Like that's a thing now. There's people who don't know it, and the Pottermore was such a big part of sort of Harry Potter outside of the books. Of course, there's fan fiction, but the website, man, and it's sort of like, we're growing up. We're the kids from the Harry Potter generation, and the website needs to grow up too, because none of the kids now are interested in it. So it's like, let's make this more adult-themed.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm looking at a tweet right now on the Pottermore website. Like, it's like this article of people reacting to it. And it says, Pottermore is a blog now. What happened to making spells and brewing potions? I'm sorry, but I like the old version better. So I guess
they have their likes and dislikes.
Yeah,
that's true.
It is very bloggy now, which is, I don't know. To me, I liked the whole magic experience sort of thing better, rather than reading about the experiences.
Oh.
This is still cool for sure.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's cool to, like I said, I wanted to try all that stuff, but I feel like after a while, once you've done everything, I feel like it wouldn't be exciting at all to go back and do it a second time. Like the replayability of the website would be. And
anything like with the name Harry Potter on it by J.K. Rowling is like the coolest thing. Like, oh my god, you just gotta read about it.
Exactly, and so. For me, at first, like I said, I would be more excited about the Sorting Hat and all the interactive stuff. But now, once people have already done all that stuff, and you want to read about the lore and the background, that's something that people go back to all the time. You look at other, series and sagas and all these stories. People go back and look at the lore for Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games. Well, not Hunger Games so much, but Star Wars. People go back and look at that stuff all the time. And so, because it's something that you can look back on and get information from, and read all this cool stuff, that to me has a little bit more. It's something you can go back to more often than the previous site.
I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know how I got this, but I got Harry Potter in Spanish. I bought it off like Kindle or something. But I think I had to go
to learn Spanish.
Yeah, but I think I had to go through the Pottermore website to get to it, like to buy it. And I don't know how you would do that. Can you still buy foreign language Harry Potter books through the Pottermore?
I just buy them on Amazon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would imagine, most likely. Yeah. So I guess this kind of goes into something talking about not only Harry Potter, but just in general stories and these worlds and universes that people create. Like we said, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Hunger Games, more recently Divergent. Well, first off, which one of those, what are your favorites? Like, for me, my favorites are Harry Potter, Star Wars, Hunger Games. Those are my three. I never got into Lord of the Rings.
I never read the Divergent, and I never read Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings, but Harry Potter was my jam, man.
Is Star Trek a choice?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about Star Trek. I love
Star Trek. That is
I've never seen it.
That's right past Harry Potter. Just... It's freaking awesome.
Are you talking about the old TV shows and movies, or the newer stuff?
The newer stuff.
Okay, I saw the one that came out in 2008 or 2010. It was a while ago. It was like the oldest modern movie, if that makes sense. But I saw that one.
2009, I think.
Yeah, that one was really good. I liked that one a lot. I didn't see the one that came out after, but that was good.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna fly over there and we're gonna go see it.
We'll have a movie marathon. So
yes,
obviously all of these stories and movies and books, they have millions of people who know about them, all these people who love them. Like, I love the Harry Potter series. I grew up reading every single book the month it came out. So what do you think is it about these stories that makes them so lovable and honestly it's believable? Like, the Harry Potter world, I see that happening in a multiverse, in another parallel universe. Like, I believe that something like that could happen. So what do you think attracts all these people to this?
Obviously, the writer has to be really good. Has to be first person, right? No, wait.
Yeah.
Harry Potter was third person, right?
Harry Potter is third person.
Oh.
I think most of these that we're talking about are third person.
Something on my bucket list would be just like have the ability to sit down and talk to the writer for a day.
That would be cool.
Be like, what gave you this idea, and what gave you this idea? And
yeah. Well, one thing that J.K. Rowling had also talked about on the site is that like she was putting up notes of like she called it the original 40, and it's the names of the first 40 characters of the Harry Potter series that she thought of. And she even talks about how she changed some names. Luna Lovegood was named Lily something, but she changed that because she wanted Harry's mother's name to be Lily. So it's cool to see the thought process and like how the story progresses, and she has some of that information on there. So learning about how it was all created, that stuff's cool.
Do you think she thought of the top 40 before she actually wrote the plot?
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's interesting. I would imagine you'd have to come up with some sort of plot first, because obviously you have to have Hogwarts existing in your head before you think of characters, or at least some sort of story. So I would imagine you have to have some sort of idea of the story first. Also, I get some people saying that the live chat isn't working. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what the issue is. We'll look into it, but if you can't chat, I'm still sorry. We'll see what we can do to get it working. Let's see here.
You can tweet or something.
Yeah, you guys can tweet me too at Mr. Nitro. The link is actually in the description of the video, so you can tweet me or tweet anyone here that's listed. And we can do that as well. So if you want to do that, I'm sorry that the live chat isn't working, but feel free to hit us up on Twitter. Also, we're kind of finishing up. We'll be finishing up in a little bit. So if you have some topics that you'd like us to discuss for like a little lightning round at the end, you can do that as well. But getting back to this, so obviously it has a lot to do, almost everything, with a writer. So what do you think attracts people to like the fantasy, fiction genre in general?
Having a life that isn't normal.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean,
being
who doesn't want to?
Or an unbelievable life.
Yeah, who doesn't want to have a wand and go cast spells and stuff, right? So I think that was it for me. Like, I wanted to be in that world, in the Harry Potter world. I wanted to be able to do all that stuff.
I think what a lot of these things have in common is factions. In Twilight, there was the vampires versus the werewolves. In Harry Potter, it's all the houses, you know what I mean? Yeah. And also, there's another faction, which is basically Death Eaters versus Dumbledore's army. In Lord of the Rings, it's all like the races and everything, the dwarves, elves. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think there's a lot of similarities as far as factions go. Divergent, oh my god.
Yeah.
What are those called? Are those called... literally factions?
Yeah, it's literally factions. And they all get placed into them at the beginning of the series. Yeah, it looks like all of us can type in the live chat, but I don't think anyone else can. I don't know how Casey was able to do it.
No.
It might have something.
Good
to
job,
do with,
Nitro. You messed it up.
I know, huh? I'm a failure. But we'll see if we can get that fixed up. At least maybe not for this one, but for the next one. We'll try to get that sorted out. So I guess the last thing I want to finish off with was books versus movies. Is it true that the books are always better than the movies?
No.
Not always.
So what kinds of things would you say?
Okay. In Twilight's, what is the last one? Breaking Dawn Part 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but whenever they break off from the actual book's plot, oh my god, that movie was so good at the end.
I didn't even know it broke off from the plot.
You remember it?
Yeah.
It blew my mind. But like if they actually copied it like word for word what the book was, sometimes it's not as good. Like Mockingjays Part 1 copied it like exactly the way the book was. And people who never read the book hated the movie because it was copying it and that it's just slow. But like people, you like it if it copies the book sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that... Go ahead.
You go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so the other thing that I see is that it's people's interpretation. So the director of the movie might have a different interpretation of the book than other people. So it's nice to see different interpretations of the story. So you see the authors, the directors, you have people talking about it online. So the different ways to I guess, to see the movie and hear the book, it kind of gives you different perspectives on the story. And so that's one thing that I did like. it also gives you a visual representation of what's going on. For people like me who aren't creative and have no imagination, I love the books. They were really good. But then being able to see the Hogwarts castle in the movies and seeing Hogsmeade and seeing Voldemort, it's cool to actually see that, like, visually. Obviously, some people like the imagination, more than that. That's why they like the books. But for me, I like to actually see things. So that's why I did enjoy the movies as well.
Yeah, I think that once there's a movie made, it makes the universe more tangible. And it really latches people on.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're actually seeing this stuff now. Seeing the Death Star on Star Wars, which the way they made that was awesome. Actually creating a miniature scale of the Death Star, that's cool. But then seeing that in the movie, it looked awesome. And it obviously there weren't any Star Wars books, but you believe that that's real in the movie, and that's something that you can do, in film. So you make it feel real and believable. So overall,
I'm a fast reader, but comprehending stuff, I can comprehend it after a long time of concentrating. But I'd rather just have the whole book into a 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah.
And, the graphics and the entertainment and everything, I love it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I understand why they do it, but I hate that they break up books into separate movies. Why do you... Okay, yes, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the last Harry Potter book, but if you're going to split up into 2 movies, I'd rather see a 5-hour Harry Potter movie and just sit there and experience it all at once.
I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to sit through that, so that's why they split it up. They consider people to be, have short attention spans. And dumb
Disney
and get out of
movies
there in
are...
2
I think that's why they
hours.
broke it into 2 parts.
Yeah.
That's probably...
And they want to be able to cover
Definitely
more
how
of the
those, right?
book, get more details.
Yeah, that's true.
The Hobbit, that's a book that's maybe a quarter of the length of the shortest Lord of the Rings book, and they made 3 movies out of it rather than 1 movie per book of Lord of the Rings.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
They basically had every single detail from the book, and then they added on all new story as well that just was not in the book at all, all the Gandalf stuff. And I still haven't seen the 3rd one. I really need to see it. But
was Tolkien there for it? Did he have a part in that?
I don't know. Is he dead? I don't know people.
Google.
I'm not sure. I know Stephen Colbert was in the 2nd Hobbit movie.
Let's ask Siri.
Is Tolkien dead?
Is Tolkien still alive?
He died in 1973.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Sorry, Siri.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay then. Well, I guess because the original author isn't there to see it, you're probably gonna get a lot more directors and writers expanding on it, even if it's not something that the original writer wanted.
It's a definite interpretation then.
Yeah, actually.
I know for a fact
exactly
JK was there at the set,
Yeah.
She was making it happen her way.
I know there's a play, I don't know if it's on Broadway, but there is a play, I don't know if it's already out, about Harry Potter's son, James. His name is James?
Equus. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, the one that he and Ron's sister made?
Yeah.
Jenny?
Yeah.
Made.
Is that her name?
Yeah, Jenny. That's her
Ginny.
name.
How many years has it been since the last movie was made?
3 or
3?
I want to say
I don't
3.
know how long.
But it's cool to see that the story is still continuing. It's not Harry's story, but because that universe is so real and believable, you can have these spin-offs, and they're even making another movie, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, based off
I
one
will
of the
watch
textbooks.
every one of those spin-offs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Even
we'll,
with TV
we'll all
shows.
fly out to the middle of the U.S. and watch it together.
See the premiere. You gotta have a podcast dates.
What if there's a Netflix original Harry Potter TV series?
That would be awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm just waiting for that series of unfortunate events one
Yes.
that was teased to come out.
Yes.
I don't know if
Okay,
that
but what if it
trailer was
comes out and
official
it's
or not, but that
terrible?
looked amazing.
What are you saying, Aaron?
What if it's terrible?
It won't be.
I honestly...
It's supposed to be.
Netflix can't make bad shows.
I know.
Okay, but the new
people would-
Terminator Genesis was everyone was yes!
Did Netflix make it?
No.
No, but
Netflix
I mean, it was
makes awesome shows nonstop.
Oh, wait, we're talking about if Netflix made it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a Netflix series.
Yeah, the series of unfortunate events. So I'm excited for that one, honestly. And that's one I had forgotten about. I read all those books too, and I saw the movie. The movie was okay, but Jim Carrey was awesome.
I think we should all watch it at the same time and like stream. On,
and
like,
then you can get taxed extra.
Yeah.
And you'll see me like punch a hole in the wall like that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a little viewing
American
party.
Horror Story starting next week, right?
Oh gosh, that's
October sometime.
Too hardcore for me.
I'm waiting for The Walking Dead, actually.
Didn't
Ew.
Fear the Walking Dead just end?
Yeah, the finale was
What
yesterday.
is that, by the way?
Spin-off?
It's a spin-off, and it's during the outbreak, like the initial outbreak. Of
Where do you watch it?
AMC. Same channel. Yeah, right.
So
when Fear the
Netflix
Walking
eventually?
It'll be on Netflix in a year.
Dead. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Most likely. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I missed the whole season, but my family just watched it like an hour ago. But I missed out on the whole season. But
Well, with all
comes
these
out in 2
taxes
Yeah.
that we're getting, I'm gonna have to wait till it gets on Prime because I can't afford to pay for Netflix again.
the struggle. So
It's
I guess
real.
books versus movies in general, I'm honestly in between. I love reading the books, and even when I was a kid, I loved reading. But just seeing Harry Potter fight Voldemort in the Battle of Hogwarts, that I'm like a little kid. It's
No,
amazing.
because okay, so you have Voldemort's like dark black, long, just disgusting looking wand, and then Harry's little stick, and then you see the green like zapper or the flame come out of Voldemort's, and you see the red one come out of Harry's, and it's just when it meets up in the middle and they both like blow. That's so awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so cool, and honestly, if they do make a spin-off, like you said they are, we're all watching it together. That's a promise I'm making right now.
There you go.
It's gonna be so cool.
Well, I guess the same thing could be said for books, because I remember reading the Battle of Hogwarts. I read the whole thing straight through, just from start to finish, and then went back and did it again. So I would say you can have those moments, maybe not the same, but you can have similar moments like that even when you are reading the book.
This is really weird, but when I read the 7th Harry Potter, the cover of that book was orange, and the entire time the Battle of Hogwarts was orange to me, because, yeah.
Oh,
the
really?
cover
And then
really
see-
gives,
The cover really makes you, like, look at the tone of it, you know?
Goblet of Fire was all green. Just everything was green.
Yeah,
and
actually,
red.
now that you mention it, I did see a lot of green in that movie. That's
What Order of the
crazy.
Phoenix was
Blue.
Yeah.
And in Order of the Phoenix, when they're fighting over the spheres, that room is all blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the connections. Mind blown. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Man, I love Harry Potter. I gotta say that. Bailey, your dog's name is Harry.
Yeah, he's right
awesome.
here. He's asleep.
How awesome. Alright, so I guess with that, that's gonna wrap up the show. We actually made it through the whole hour.
Is Bay.
Hagrid is Bay. I'm not into beards, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
God, Hagrid is just so like. I feel like if I met him in real life and I gave him a hug, I'd like get my arms around his belly button and he'd like hug me and like break my spine. So I kind of want to meet him, but I don't.
Have you seen that one meme of him where he's like, "You're a wizard, Harry," and he's like, "I'm a what?" And then it's like, "You're a wizard." His eyes are all.
Wait, okay, but you know how like he's like seriously like here's Harry. If you look at my screen, here's Harry.
Yeah.
And then Hagrid's like that tall, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
huge.
But he's that tall in real life. Like
The guy is huge, the actor.
that is not special effects. Like he is that tall in real life. That, at least I'm gonna look that up real fast.
like a giant.
Alex, are you typing in? Did Hagrid wear high heels?
I was
Get some
looking at the wizard.
stilettos. You're a wizard. There's so many memes. There's one, my favorite one ever. It's a dick joke, but my favorite one ever is it's Harry and Ron on the train, and Ron's talking about his wand. He's like, my wand is 11 inches, and Harry is like, my wang is 11 inches. And I was like, I see what you did there. Harry Potter memes are pretty funny. So, all right, guys. So we are exactly at that hour since we started the show. So thank you to everyone who joined in. Thank you to Alex, Aaron, and Bailey for joining with me. To everyone in chat, I'm so sorry that we couldn't get the live chat to work. I'm gonna be looking into it and see what we can do to get it fixed. But for the next one, for sure, we'll test it out and be sure that it's working for you guys. So for the next one, we'll see what happens. So the plan, at least what's happened so far, is we were actually streaming this on the first Monday of every month. That's what happened last time. That's what happened this time. So most likely we will be streaming on the first Monday of November. So. Yeah, with that said, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone who's watching live. If you want to go back and watch this again, this will be uploaded on my YouTube channel tomorrow. If you're watching on my YouTube channel and don't have time to sit through an hour-long video, the link to the SoundCloud is going to be down below in the description, so you can follow that. You can listen to that on the go. I listen to podcasts in the car. I know Bailey listens to podcasts on the go, too. So if you want to watch us or listen to us on the go, links are all down below in the description. Links to social media and YouTube to everyone who joined me today, also down below in the description. And this has been the Page 8 Podcast, guys. Thank you so much, and until next time, have a good one, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye!
Thank you. See you later.